Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Fortitude Fix. I hope you're well. My name is DaShanna, and in today's video, I am talking about what I was diagnosed with, what they found when I went to the doctors. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just get straight into this video. In order for you to get a better picture of what's going on, I'm gonna have to go back to 2018. In 2018, my husband and I had conversations about starting our family, and I am someone who has sickle cell disease type SC hemoglobin. I also found later on that I have fibroids, and for me, health and health education and knowledge of one's self is very important. And so I went to get a ton of baseline blood work done. I made appointments to do all of these things and get all of these things checked so that we could have a clear picture of what was going on internally before I got pregnant. I would need to be followed very closely and monitored, and I would also be considered high risk should I become pregnant. So I wanted to do a bunch of preconception appointments and blood work. So I did talk to my high risk OB, my primary care provider, my hematologist, and we went through a whole laundry list of things to check, to look at, to explore. And I want to tell you that because there was one thing that I did. So I believe I did a CT scan, and they, put me in the machine and they brought everything up, and they did the scan all the way up to my neck and all the way down to my abdomen, lower thigh area. And then because of that routine procedure, they found something in my neck and they wanted to explore it more. They then referred me to endocrinology to do an ultrasound. So I did an ultrasound on my neck, and they said that they found what's called a thyroid nodule. So in your neck, you have your windpipe. So that's the center right here, and your thyroid kind of covers. So pretend this is your windpipe. This is your thyroid. It kind of covers it. And so what happened is they found a nodule on the right side of my thyroid. So they did an ultrasound, they measured it. Once they measured it, they wanted to do a biopsy. So they did a biopsy back in 2018, and the results returned benign, meaning there was no presence of cancer. So with that, I was told to come back in a year and do a repeat ultrasound, check on the size of it, etc. Now, because of the timing of all of this, I was super busy. I was working, and then COVID hit and everything shut down. And then so I got pregnant, COVID hit, I was fully pregnant, couldn't go anywhere, gave birth, then it was postpartum. Then after that, my mom got sick, had to become caretaker of my mom, lots of appointments for her, lots of things. I ended up getting pregnant again. My mom passes away, and then we end up moving, and long story short, I did not do the repeat come back in a year and a half appointment. So now that I have both my kids here, now that I am really looking into taking care of my whole self, I remembered that I was supposed to do this appointment that I never did. So I checked back in my chart, and I saw that yes, they recommended a year to a year and a half to come back and do the repeat ultrasound. So I reached out to my new primary care doctor because we moved and I transferred my care, and I alerted her to my chart and the recommendation of my previous endocrinologist. She said, okay, great, I go ahead and make the referral. So she made a referral to endocrine, and they called me up to do the repeat ultrasound. A couple of weeks ago, I went to do the repeat ultrasound, and they don't tell you anything there. They sent me home, and the results came in. So the results came in, and the finding was that the thyroid nodule had grown in size. So I believe it was 2 or 2 point something centimeters, and now it is 3.5 centimeters. And so because it had grown in size, it's not abnormal for that to happen, but because it grew over a certain percentage, they wanted to do a repeat biopsy. I was able to film a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and insert those clips here. Alright, hey y'all, so I'm in the car and I am on my way to my biopsy. I am pulling in, so hopefully I can find a park. I needed to be in and checked in at 10:15, so it is currently 10:05, so that's awesome. As soon as I find a park, I'm going to run in, and honestly, I have to figure out where I'm going. So the buildings here are they're a little bit tricky. So found a park. I am going to head over and I will see what I can record or photograph or whatever, but I will be back after the appointment to let you all know how it went. All right, see y'all in a bit. Bye. All right, y'all, so it is 11:30 on the dot and I am back in the car, so I'm all done with my appointment. As you can see, I have a band-aid from where they did the biopsy. They said to remove the band-aid in 1 hour, so it hasn't been an hour yet since I was pulled back, or since the biopsy began. So I will wait a few more minutes. Probably by the time I get home, I'll take it off. It will have been an hour. I also needed to stop by the lab, so I got some blood work done. One poke, y'all. It was just one poke this time. He was legit, and I had to give him his props at the end, and we had a little laugh about it, but he was awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and get home because 1, I am starving. 2, I am super thirsty. I just ran out of the house because I needed to make it to my appointment on time, and 3, because I want to be able to sit down and properly tell you everything that happened. So let's go home and get into it. All right, everyone, so I am back home after that last clip that you saw, and I wanted to sit down and just tell you what happened at this appointment that I had today for my biopsy. They asked that I got there 15 minutes before my appointment, so my appointment was at 10:30 and I got there and checked in and everything it was a little bit before, but by 10:15. When I got called back, I was in the room, so I'll show some clips here if I have them, but I was in the room. The tech said that they were going to kind of just get everything set in the room and that the doctor would come in, and the first little bit of our appointment would be the doctor talking to me and answering any of my questions. So that is what happened. The doctor came in, super cool. You know, she had some jokes and I had some jokes, and we had a really good time talking to each other. She explained to me, just like I explained to you earlier, about kind of your windpipe and then your thyroid, and basically they found a nodule on my thyroid. For me, it's on the right size. It had grown in size. She talked to me about the procedure and what was gonna happen. Yes, I had done this before, but she definitely took her time to explain it to me again, which I appreciated. And so they were going to take samples of the tissue in the nodule or in the lump so that they could test it. They would send it out to pathology and take a look. So with that said, she told me that they were going to use a very small needle to do this. It's very small. It's smaller than the smallest needle that they use to draw blood. It's super, super tiny. She said that they were gonna numb the area and they were going to take 3 different samples. So that meant that I would have to be poked 3 different times for them to get tissue samples. They were checking various areas of the nodule. So it wasn't just like in the same exact spot. It was in the nodule, but different parts of the nodule to get different tissue samples. So she explained that to me. She also said that afterward, it would take a couple of days, like 3 to 5 days to get the results. And she said it's gonna go one of 3 ways. And she said, good, bad, try again. Okay, so the good would be, hey, we did this biopsy, all the tissue that we were able to test came back at like 97% free of cancer. She said that they can't be 100% because of the way in which the test is ran, but 97% would then put you in the category of it being benign, which is what I was last time when they did my first biopsy. She said the bad would be that there is cancer cells present, and then we would talk about next steps Typically, when someone has a thyroid nodule that comes back with cancer, they will remove the lump, so the nodule, they will go in and do surgery to remove it. And she said we would talk about that. And she said the third way that this could go is that they need to try again. So maybe the samples that they got weren't enough. Maybe the results were inconclusive, or maybe they just couldn't, it wasn't enough to say either way, whether it was or wasn't cancer, or whether it was or was not benign. So she said in that case, they would have to do a repeat biopsy. So that is pretty much what I was told. They went ahead and numbed me up. It's this really, really cold spray that they used. And literally just think about if you had ice and you put ice in like one very small concentrated part of your body on your neck and you just left it there for heck long. Like, it's really, really cold. That's how that numbing agent worked. And she did the biopsy. She inserted the needle, did her thing, removed it, and she did that 2 more times with the spray in between each time. She would spray, stick, spray, stick, spray, and stick. That's how it went. The whole appointment from start to finish was probably less than 30 minutes, but it was really good for me to talk to her, to get her to explain things to me and share with me the reason and why that we are doing a repeat biopsy. It's not just because the thyroid nodule had grown, because that is very typical, but if it grows to a certain place, they want to do a repeat biopsy just to be sure. Also, she shared with me, just because it did grow does not mean that there is presence of cancer, and that's what the biopsy is for, and that's what it will tell us. I am not worried. I am in a very kind of a peaceful state. I'm trying to keep things light and airy. I know that God's got me, and I know that this is something that is very common, and it is very much so treatable with the removal if it is cancer, and those rates are pretty high and very successful of removing, you know, all of the cancer. I have not felt any different, like with anything with my thyroid. You know, it's not causing any pain or anything like that. They did give me an ice pack and a Band-Aid. I removed the Band-Aid when I came home just because my 2-year-old is very observant and she's very empathetic, and I didn't want her to be worried or sad. So I did remove it. It was about time. That hour had gone by, so I took it off, and the doctor did say that I might feel a little bit of like soreness in the area, not pain. She said that's likely to go away very, very quickly. And then she said also there might be some like light bruising, and then that will clear up on its own as well. That brings us to where we are now, and I am just waiting for the results. So it's gonna be a couple of days, and I will make another video when I get those results. So I am a health educator. I am an educator and a speaker at heart. I enjoy educating and learning. This is something that I had never talked about on this channel before. I just wanted to share now because it has come up again with the growth in size. I want to always be transparent because life is out here lifing, okay? And if you ever needed a reminder, take this as your reminder to follow up with that appointment, to go ahead and schedule it, to go ahead and get that thing checked out if it's bothering you. If you have questions, you better ask and ask and ask until you get an answer. And just advocate for yourself. If you are watching this and you feel the need, you feel a call to advocate for someone in your family, please do that. I was not playing with my mom's doctors, okay? When I tell you that I took this on as like it was affecting me, because it was, but it was my mother, and I do not play. I was advocating for her. I was having phone call after phone call. I was going to appointment after appointment, asking thousands, like hundreds of questions, literally, that I would write down in my phone beforehand. If they said something too fast, if I didn't understand, I was asking them to repeat it slower, to perhaps phrase it in another way, whatever it is that you need to do to get your answers and to make sure that you are on the right track. Especially as, you know, folks of color and Black women specifically, healthcare providers need to listen to us. With that said, I am going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I do have a work call that I need to hop on So thank you so much. Please pray and be in prayer with me over this next week while I wait for the results of this biopsy. Y'all can't see me right now, but I'm kind of rubbing my hands together like this, and it's really because it's emotional. It's emotional, you know. It's not just me anymore. I'm a wife and a mom of 2, and my support system is there, but it has shrunk by one amazing person who is my mom. And so she, you know, is up in heaven, proud of me. I know she is. And I know that God's angels have their arms around me. God has his hands around me, and we are blessed. So I'm going to see you all in my next video. Please continue to pray. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and drop me the purple heart emoji. Go ahead and drop me the purple heart emoji down below to let me know that you've made it this far. I will go ahead and leave some videos over here for you to watch between now and my next upload, and I will see you in my next video. As always, remember to fill your cup. You deserve it. Bye.